I'm a little bit late. I took Mika for a walk into town. We put some money in the bank account to make sure that over Christmas we don't have a lot of bouncing checks that go off. So yeah, had to put in a little bit of money. And it was a great chance to take Mika for a little walk. And she had a lot of fun. And now she's upstairs, kind of tired, sleeping. So yeah, just wanted to say Mika had a great time. Had a little adventure going out. And now I'm back in the stream. I just made it in time. So yeah, want to get started. I brought a few plans here. But we will probably do it later. Most of the ones are all right. I just wanted to inspect them. So let me see everything here, if everything's all right. This is a, how are they called? They were Lemerocerois, previously Marshalocerois. And I think now they are in Stenocerois. I'm not sure. Not Pruinosus. What was it? No, this was Lophocerois, right? Lophocerois shorty is the name. And I need to take a close look at everything because I noticed that these are in bad soil. So what we will do is we will transplant them. Let me just get something where we can take them out of the soil. My little roundish thing. That's perfect for this. I would take it here. And then we will take them out of the soil. Will allow us to inspect the roots. I mean, it's a too organic kind of soil. So now, what I will do now is just removing the soil, cleaning the root system a little bit, and then we will put them into washed pumice. There are a few that are all right. Some of them aren't. That is the price that you have for using classic sowing soil. It just dries too slow. This hasn't been watered in months, but it's still wet. There's a little thingy. Okay. Yeah, I just want to clean them up a little bit here. And then we will transplant them into the pumice. Just cleaning the root system of them. Otherwise, we would lose them one after the other. So yeah, this will give us maybe 6 or 7 healthy seedlings. I hope that the washed pumice will be enough here. We'll see. I brought a little bag with washed pumice. And I'll refill later today. Hey guys, welcome to the stream, by the way. I'm just repotting little seedlings into washed pumice. Oh, come on. Okay. And I already removed the soil from the seedlings, and now I want to just stick them into the washed pumice. Here, this thing has a infected area at the root system. We need to, I think we might have to take away the root system here. Yeah, these have problems with too much humidity, not enough drainage, that kind of stuff. So let me see if I can clean up the wound here. Just removing everything that's rotten. They will need to stay indoors now in low humidity. but that gives us maybe a chance. From the other side, the root looks okay. Yeah, and this will go into washed pumice now. Overall, a mineral medium is so much better. So much safer for seedlings. So on the long term, I try to transplant into washed pumice. When anything goes wrong in the organic soil, first thing I do is transplanting. And yeah, don't think we can get them all into one pot, but I'll try. But yeah, these are looking really bad. Classic example of having too much humidity and a too organic soil. For seedlings are just so sensitive to too much water. And this is a beautiful species. Like I said, Lophocereus shorty, good cactus, really nice. And yeah, I think we got them all in, at least the ones that will make it. So now I will add a little bit of washed pumice on top, just to have them covered with it. I don't want to just stick them in it. It needs to give them a little bit of stability. Okay. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes. That one seedling where we took away something at the root system, it needs humidity, it needs air, fresh air, needs to stay out of humidity. So I need to be very careful here when I'm kind of covering up stuff, like in this case with the washed pumice. So I try to keep the area where we have cut, I try to keep that free, like that oxygen can get to the wound. That's important. But yeah, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seedlings. I don't think that all of them will make it, but if some of them do, then we have 1 or 2 large plants. This one here, this is a classic root rot. Root rot happens so easily on seedlings, and it's just because the root system of a seedling cannot tolerate being wet and cold temperatures. That combination, being wet for too long, it's just a bad thing. So in this case, I just removed the infection, putting the wound upwards so it can callus. And here's another one that also had root rot. The soil was just too organic, or it took too long to dry. So yeah, also here, remove the infection from the root system. And now this thing here stays indoors in a heated room where you can set the temperature to something like 10 degrees Celsius. I don't want it too warm and I don't want it too cold. So yeah, this will go into the shelf where I have the indoor plants, where I just try to keep them at a somewhat stable temperature that isn't too high, and that will give them a chance to make it through winter. Because if you would put them in a greenhouse now in that kind of state, they would just be gone. You would just lose them one after the other. You wouldn't really notice it. Every month there would be one less seedling, and eventually everything would be, you end up with no large plants. That happens a lot, and due to the fact that it is so slowly delayed, you don't really notice the connection to the roots being too wet for too long. On this channel, I talk a lot about sowing out, and we are sowing out in a very organic soil, simply because that produces the best results. But apart from that, after a certain time, after the first 6 months, it can really help to pot seedlings into a very mineral mix a fast draining mix where the water just runs through. So yeah, this was the low-food cereals. I really like that one. I have hope that later on they will look impressive. I only need one plant to get tall, but I hope we can save them. Apart from that, I also brought these kinds of seedlings here that I wanted to show you. And there are 3 small seedlings that are perfectly all right, but one, a bigger one here, that has a fungal infection at the base. There you can see the brownish kind of color. So what I want to do now is I would just remove the tip of the seedling in order to reroot it. And I hope we can do that. Unfortunately, you can see here that the infection has already progressed into the core. That is generally a bad sign. And you can also see it by the yellow discoloration that you have there. Sometimes you think you get your plant turns into a variegation, like a variegated plant, but then you find out it's just an infection that takes away the chlorophyll, that takes away every color that you have. So yeah, we need to cut again, remove a little bit more, but also still orange. I think we need to cut more, unfortunately. One more time, and I hope that this will do it. Looks okay. Let me show you. You can still see some sort of a memory of a fungal infection. But this piece, this should be enough to heal. This actually has a chance. If I had left a little bit more of it on it, of the infection on this piece, it would be gone. So, and now I remove the infected part here, the base. This is what started it. Also probably related to not enough drainage. Not enough drainage is really a big thing, and it happens so often. So these will also stay inside where the infection can slowly heal, where it has time to callus. Okay, yeah, nice. So now I will go through my seedlings one after the other. Hey Dave, good morning. Yes, the new window is awesome. Thank you. The first morning when the sun went up when I suddenly opened my bathroom door and the sunlight hit me, that was a great feeling. I had forgotten how that is, and that it was just a month or two maybe. But I was so used to seeing that thing. It looked like the window is nailed shut. So it was great finally seeing the sun again. Finally being able to see my greenhouses again when I look out the window, that kind of stuff, you know. And Mika and Kami love it too. We don't have a lot of windows where a lot of sunlight comes in, and the bathroom always brought in a lot of light. So I'm very happy. I'm very thankful that the company did that. I mean, they are paid for it, but they definitely pushed this forward. They had the parts ordered per express delivery. So I was very happy about it. Really, I mean, you wouldn't think that something basic like a window becomes so important in life sometimes, you know. When you don't have a lot of money, everything becomes a huge problem instantly. So yeah, I'm just happy that the chapter is closed, that I will never have to deal with that kind of window problem again. I'm sure I will get other window problems eventually at some point where a window needs to be replaced, but it will never be one that was so, you know, when you have it in the roof, like it was here, it's really difficult to get it closed up that it doesn't rain in. And in this case, it had rained in at least 20 times. So yeah, Very happy. Thank you. So, okay, I brought seedlings here that I want to check, that I want to inspect on the stream again. Cleaned up a little here, and everywhere I have pumice lying in front of me. It's just how it is with pumice. Perfect example why I try to not have it on the channel so much. But it's a good mineral. It just helps with the cacti. So that's that. Okay, I will go through the seedlings now. Just checking them, making sure they are all right. In this one, they looked all right at first, but one of them has what looks like a fungal infection starting at the tip. And by the way, I think this is one of the cases where I've always talked about, where the seed corn, like the remnant of the seed, has somehow caused the damage on the seedling, on the tip of the seedling, because I can see it here. They sometimes get stuck at the tip, and then afterwards the area becomes infected because it has slightly damaged it. So we need to take this seedling out, I guess. And apart from that, it looks great, actually. I mean, if it hadn't been for the fungal infection at the tip, I hadn't noticed it. Or maybe I will put it into the corner of the pot, so in case it recovers, it has a chance to do so. But yeah, no, I don't like how the seedling looks. I take it out. This doesn't have a chance. Okay. So apart from that, the other seedlings look great. And I can close that up again. We got that in time. Always important to catch fungal infections in time. Next one. So yeah, I want to tell you something. I got a delivery, like something that I ordered. It wasn't much. It was just like $10. And this time it came with UPS, that famous American kind of parcel service, and they aren't really widely available here. I mean, and the guy, when he comes, the delivery driver, he never rings the door. Like, he never tells me that he's there. He just leaves the note and then brings the package somewhere far away, where it's way too far away, so I like to pick it up. So in the last days, I was trying to just arrange with UPS that the delivery driver just puts the package down at my address, and they wouldn't do it. They would not do it. They just, every time the delivery driver comes, he doesn't even ring the bell. Nothing. I'm always there. You know, they could just leave it there and I would get it and everything would be great. But they just claimed they knocked, or that they claimed that they had ring the bell, and then they drive away again, and I will never see the package again, because I'm not walking like a few kilometers to pick it up, like through like 3 towns to pick it up. I'm not doing that. For those $10, they can keep it then. So yeah, that was my morning today. I had to write, like, it was the 3rd email that I wrote to UPS because of this, because I just wanted them to leave the package at the mailbox. And I even put a big box at the mailbox where they can put it, but it wasn't working. It wasn't happening. Of all the parcel services that I experienced here, UPS is by far the worst. So yeah. Apart from that, things are good. I took a walk with Mika this morning. We walked to the bank. We walked to the bank and back. And she's a tiny dog, so she has very small legs. So right now she's sleeping, because this was a lot of work for her. pretty long trip when you only have like legs this small, you know. But yeah, was great. She had fun, and I just came home in time for the stream. Okay, so yeah, these seedlings are looking okayish, not great. One or two look like they might not make it long term, but for now they are all right. They will definitely make it for a few more days. There's nothing, you know, when you look at the seedling, sometimes you see that they are not of this world for long anymore. But in this case, at least they will make it for a week or two. After that, we'll see. Okay, so here are seedlings from Lobivia winteriana. Interesting cross between Lobivia winteriana and Saarwellen. Famous hybrid by Rolf Autenried. And in this case, I made that cross a few times. Every year I try to do the cross again, because you never know what kind of a offspring you will get. And in this case, it could really produce something interesting. We'll see. On the first look, the seedlings look like they have Lobivia body. So we will see how they will come out long term. But apart from that, they are great. Nothing to do here. Can just close it up again. Okay. Seedlings in this one are looking okay, looking good, growing healthily. The soil is a little bit too wet. You can see how shiny it is, but that is not really a problem. I mean, eventually it will hopefully get the right humidity. It will lose a little bit of water here and there. We're constantly opening it up, and these and the plants use up the water too. The little seedlings. So hopefully it will eventually end up with the right humidity. Apart from that, everything good here. Next one. Always happy to take questions if you have problems. Cactus growing related problems, but also happy to comment on other stuff. So yeah, here are 3 seedlings in the corner. And they look like something, like they either fell over or something has attacked the roots. It's probably the latter. But I want to give them a chance, so I'm repotting them deeper now. Trying to get them to have a little bit stability. Okay, here's another one that wasn't really getting a lot of stability. But apart from that, the seedlings look great. A comment came in, but I can't, like, YouTube has filtered it out and I can't understand it. It's not a language that I understand. So sorry. If you want, I can understand English a little bit, you know. Apart from that, I'm strictly limited in the languages. But yeah, thank you for the comment. So here, you can see the seedlings. They're looking okay. Healthy spines, and these are already older. Hey mate, yeah, take your time. I'm here. I will be doing a little bit of stream, maybe for another half an hour, just going through the seedlings, maybe a little bit longer. We'll see. But these are looking good. I mean, one seedling has a discoloration, but it had that discoloration in the last couple of weeks already. And so far it hasn't spread, so maybe we're lucky. Maybe it passes. Next one. Okay, so yeah, these very young seedlings, really tiny. Apart from that, they're looking okay. At this point in their development, they are just starting to grow. Trying to remove the the seeds that are stuck at the tip. Here's another one where it's really firmly stuck. And that stuff can be really dangerous. That can cause an infection later that will spiral through the container and take the others with it. So I always try to, if I see that they are stuck and don't start to fall down slowly over time, then I take them down just with a pencil, gently brushing against them to get them down. Be careful because you can break the seedling like that. Okay, what else? These are looking okay. But I'm also warned because one or two of them don't have perfect stability, don't have a good connection to the ground. And that could be fungus gnat related. But for now, they are looking good. I will close it up again. Some variegated seedlings in this one, almost definitely. And they are looking good. I mean, so far so good. At this point, they seem to be able to produce a tiny bit of chlorophyll, and that might be important that they survive on their own roots if they are truly variegated. Okay, more seedlings. Yeah, looking great. Not one that that seems to be at risk of expiring or anything where I can see problems. This can just be closed up again. This is perfect. Sometimes when you do not need to do something, don't do it. Don't waste time with it. Okay, next one. And this is one of the containers that we transplanted into the washed pumice. And so far so good. They are looking great. Actually, this is what I want to see when I pot them into washed pumice. Just healthy seedlings, no problem. One or two where I had to correct the position, dig them a little bit deeper with the roots, that they have a perfect stability, that they can root, that they can start growing into the new soil. But yeah, these are looking great. No fungus gnats. And this is one of them that had big problems with fungus gnats. And the moment we put them into the washed pumice, that was over. They had really a rough time with that. Okay, so next one. And here I believe we have a container where we need to very soon start to transplant. You can see that the moss and the algae there, it turns the pH level of the soil. It changes the pH level of the soil over time. And when that happens, it's important to transplant. For now, they are looking okay. I can't see any kind of loss here, any seedling that we already lost. But the moment this starts, the moment we are losing seedlings, we need to transplant them. For now, I just try to remove some of the moss here, the upper layer. This can help you to keep the soil a little bit longer fresh for a little longer. But it only buys you a little bit of time. It's not something, the moss will not go away. And by removing it, you kind of give it a new chance to grow from somewhere else. So, but for now we can close it up again. The seedlings still look too good to transplant them. I try to let them grow when they are actively growing. I try to leave them alone, because the moment you transplant them, you will stress them. Every time you transplant seedlings, it is stressful, and it will take them a few weeks to overcome that. And if you do it a little bit later, just a few weeks later, that can already change everything, because the seedlings are a lot bigger than, a lot more resistant to stress than in the first maybe couple of months. So we try to leave them in there a little bit longer. These are okay. I'm not sure if I just had a fungus gnat fly by or if it was my eye. But if I'm starting to see shadows, like when you look into the sun, but it appeared to me that there could have been a fungus gnat here. The seedlings look great though, just healthy seedlings, everything perfect. Hey Andrea. Welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. I'm just going through the seedlings again, just discussing stuff, checking the containers. Earlier, I already inspected a few seedlings. If you missed it, check it out. It's an interesting Lophocerois seedlings, but they are in the wrong soil. They were in a too organic soil. Long term, it would probably be better to sow out in the washed pumice. But I just don't like working with it so much. So we'll see. Water management is definitely important with an organic soil like this. Yeah, you've been speaking Spanish. That's right. I love Spain. Spain's a great country. Beautiful. I went there a lot when I was younger. Driving with the car, we used to drive there. So yeah, these are great. Looking great here. So far so good. Maybe a little bit too wet, the soil, but apart from that, it's okay. Healthy seedlings, nothing bad going on here. If we continue like we do now, we can get most of them to adulthood, almost certainly. I'm glad you like it. Yeah, more. And these are looking great. These are from that Caesar cross that produced the nicest seedlings. No, it's Gräsers Erfolg. Gräsers Erfolg Selbstbestäubung and Cantora. Also an interesting body. Interesting kind of hybrid. Closing it up again because the seedlings just look great. They don't need anything. Don't have to change anything. Okay, next one. I see a seedling that is lying on the ground. I'm not sure if it's fungus gnat related or if it's just from handling the container. It still has a root, so it's not completely terrible and might recover. But I'm warned here. Oh, and here's a seedling that's where the root is up, like upside down seedling. Gotta carefully try to turn it around and put it into the ground with the root into the soil. Otherwise we will lose it. Okay. My Spanish is pretty bad, unfortunately. The only word that I know is K from that South Park episode. But apart from that, that's probably it. My week is going great. I got my window. I got a new window after waiting for it for very long. And yeah, and now I'm just trying to get into the Christmas kind of vibe, where you're not trying to do a lot over the holidays. I'm just looking forward to having a few days without too much work. So yeah, doing great. Thank you. Hope you are doing great too. So yeah, continuing a little bit with the seedlings here. So these are potted a little bit too deep, but at this point we can't really correct it. So they would just be left alone until a problem forces us to transplant them. For now, everything is all right. But they are just not getting the perfect light. The further they are away from the edge of the pot, the less light they get. Okay, some more. These are looking good. Humidity is actually pretty all right, pretty perfect. Apart from that, there's a seedling lying somewhere down there. And I try to get it out. Okay. The problem with this container is that there are just too many cactus seedlings in there. That's a lot. And they are pressed against each other. That just means that long term we will have to transplant these two. You see how much of work comes from transplanting seedlings. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm doing my best. Really. I'm really looking forward to the next season, to spring. In spring, we are starting to stream from outdoors with the plants, with the flowers and everything. And right now, I mean, it's winter. So I'm trying my best to fill the gap that you just have when you are a cactus breeder in winter. Right now, everything is in kind of hibernation mode, in winter mode. But we are sowing out a lot, growing a lot from seeds. And by doing it on the channel, it makes it easier for others too. Yeah, these are looking great. Also, way too deep. I mean, there's like it's going downhill at an angle. And some seedlings are trapped at the bottom, but I don't care right now. They are looking okay still. Yeah, I mean, cacti, the plants that I'm breeding with here on the channel, they just have amazing flowers too. It's not only that the plants are beautiful, and some of them are so impressive when you see them when they are flowering in front of you with a big flower. So yeah, the stuff that we are breeding here in regards to cacti is among the most interesting parts of this whole subject. It's a very interesting subject, but of all of it, the fact that they have so beautiful flowers improves it even more. So yeah, these are looking good. I mean, the container is full. They're kind of starting to fall out of the container. But apart from that, it's okay. There are one or two seedlings that I really don't like how the base looks like. But I can't see any problems with them either. I can't really say we should take them out now. For now, they are firmly in the soil. They just look a little bit worse than the other seedlings. But apart from that, this is great. Just closing it up again. Okay. So in this one here, this is really wild. I mean, we have a lot of seedlings just lying in there. And they are tiny. These have just come up. Very young seedlings, maybe a couple of weeks old. And we need to do a lot of correction here to just get them to have some control, like some contact with the ground, with the soil here. I'm not sure why so few of them are firmly connected to the ground, but maybe the soil had the wrong humidity. That can happen. Or I was just handling this container a little bit rough. Saw that a few seedlings fell into the cracks here and there. And if you don't correct that, if you don't do that, you will lose them. I am currently, this is a container where I germinated cactus seeds. Cactus seeds, they need light, so you just sprinkle them on top of the soil. And when they come up originally, like in the first days or in the first weeks, they just look like this, very tiny. And every now and then, when they germinate, they don't have perfect connection to the soil. But they need to have connection to the soil in order to survive long term, to have to take in the nutrients. So I'm using a pencil to just carefully transplant them, make sure that every root of the tiny seedlings that we have here, that they have connection to the soil. That's something, if you don't do anything when they fall over, then you will probably lose them. In nature, there's a very high rate of seedlings that will never become like large cacti, that just don't make it through the first year or the first few years. The first year is the most dangerous one for cactus seedlings, and everything that you do can kind of be too much. Very fragile little tiny plants. So yeah, now you see they are a little bit better positioned in the soil. In the first 6 months, the cactus seedlings stay in this kind of thing here. They will just go under a plant lamp to make sure that they get a little bit of light. But apart from that, you can keep them in a closed container, and if nothing goes wrong, they will be all right in there. Okay, so here, this is one of the containers that we transplanted into washed pumice. Thank you, I appreciate it. In this case, we transplanted them because the old soil had problems with fungus gnats. The little fly kind of things that also thrive in organic soil. So we transplanted them in a mineral medium to get rid of the problem with the fungus gnats. And now they are starting to look okay. A few of them need to be corrected, like the position needs to be corrected again. Just by handling this whole container here, you just move everything a little bit, because the washed pumice is round in structure and everything moves easily, so you have to be careful when you handle it. Most of the seeds that I sow out are from the plants, from my own plants. You know, we go in during summer, we pollinate the flowers of the cacti that are flowering, and that gives us seeds, and then we sow them out in winter. But I also have a lot of seeds from other friends, from other breeders. You know, it's a close community, and I often grow stuff from friends of mine that I respect, where I really believe that the plants will produce something amazing. So yeah, you get cactus seeds everywhere. My recommendation is to try getting it from an actual breeder, from someone like me. You know, I mean, I'm no longer in the seed business, but there are a lot of breeders that put a lot of effort, put a lot of love into the hobby. They aren't really doing it for the money, and I really recommend buying from these kinds of people, because the quality is often better. Not only because because it is good to support the breeders, but also because their quality almost always exceeds the quality that you get from, let's say, when you buy a random thing on a marketplace like eBay. Very often when you buy from a marketplace, the seeds are already older, or you get something like I've heard a lot of people that bought seeds, like I don't know what it was from some kind of platform like Temu kind of stuff, and they got totally different plants. And when you buy from a breeder, you usually know that what you get, that what is on the label is also what you get. So yeah, these are looking good. I had to change a little bit the position here and there, but apart from that, these are looking great. You can instantly see that the washed pumice is a safer medium long term. So if you want to sow out in it right away, you can do that. I personally don't do it because the success rate in the first 3 to 6 months is just higher with a sowing soil, with a classic sowing soil. But if you sow out directly into the pumice, it would save you one step in the middle. Dave, the current weather right now, we haven't had real snow yet. So far, we recently, like last week, we had temperatures where I had summer in the greenhouses. But it also went down again. We just had the first frost again, cold nights again. So I don't know, it's too warm, way too warm for this kind of time. Yeah, but it's a couple of weeks ago, it was even warmer. I guess it's safe to say, from the point of a cactus breeder, that we will not get winter like we used to where I live. I mean, I still remember the kind of extreme winters that we had here. When I was maybe 10, 15, we always had pretty cold winters down to even minus 25 Celsius. And that doesn't happen anymore here. The coldest the winter was here was maybe minus 15, and only for very short weeks in between. And on average, the temperature is maybe around freezing, like maybe minus 5 to plus 10 degrees Celsius. That's the average temperature that I have here. At least that feels like it. Very often in winter, it's just raining now. So yeah, times are changing, apparently. And honestly, I mean, if you just look at it from a climate perspective, the planet will be all right. This planet has gone through so much. Like in the beginning, when the planet was formed, millions of years where there was nothing but lava, and all that stuff. So the planet will recover. Maybe in 50,000 years, that the climate will get back to normal. But we might not make it. We just aren't made for this kind of rapid change in temperatures and all. The last summer it was so hot that I barely made it in the house. I felt like I had a bedroom fan that I had on. I don't have air conditioning in the bedroom. And this was one of the first years where I said, long term, I will need air conditioning if I want to survive the summers here. Because the summer was so extremely hot. And then once the heat phase was over, it just rained. It rained for 3 months again. That was basically the summer. Maybe 1 or 2 months of excessive heat and 3 months of rain. Everything was flooded, rained a lot, and yeah, I mean, that is just a totally different kind of winter experience than what I had when I was a child. Maybe it gets better again, but right now, something isn't right. So yeah, these are looking great. Everything perfect. Closing it up again right away. I don't want to have anything to do with it. I don't want to do anything here. Here's a question that I overlooked. How long have you been doing this? I got my first cactus when I was a young kid in school. maybe at 15, maybe something like that. And I've been doing it for like 25 years now, a good 25 years. And I haven't been doing it like this all the time. There were always times in between when I took a step back from cactus breeding, or when I wasn't even breeding on a commercial level like I've been doing now. Yeah, 25 years is a good time. And it took me a long time to become really experienced at it. I mean, there are just so many mistakes that you can make in this hobby, and that keeps it interesting. There's always a challenge. People who are great at sowing out, they might have problems at other stuff like grafting, or like later when the plants, getting the plants to flower. It's really a big science, and the longer you do it, the easier it gets. Only now I feel like I could do the channel the way I'm doing it now. 10 years ago, I wouldn't even had the qualification to do it. But now I'm fairly, I've made most mistakes myself. I've made literally every mistake that you can make. And at some point, you just run out of mistakes that you can make. At some point, you just can't help but getting good at it. So yeah. But apart from that, I mean, growing from seeds like what we are doing here is one of the most challenging things, in my opinion. And it is also one of the most rewarding things, because at that stage you can look around and there's so many different cool different crosses or different types of cacti that you can get. And once you are sowing them out, you are creating life. I'm always amazed when I see the seedlings in front of me, because you are making it happen, right in front of your eyes. And that is a great feeling, that you could lock yourself up indoors, and if necessary, you could grow all that without even going away, without leaving the house, without doing anything. You can really, and you can scale this up. This could be a business for a lot of people. It doesn't pay well, but I know people that do it to afford the hobby. Okay, so here I have a lot of healthy looking seedlings and one that I don't like. You can see the white fluff there, somewhere in center on the lower left there. That is a fungal infection. That isn't supposed to be there. And it's in the middle of other seedlings that surround it. So we need to be careful here. We need to get it out. There you can see it. Just a white piece of fluff. And I hope that I got it out completely, because otherwise it will come back. But I think we got it out. I'm not sure what happened here, but there are two options. It either was too hot. When the temperature gets too hot, over 30 degrees, you can sometimes lose a seedling here and there, and it doesn't matter where it's located. It can even mean that if it's in the middle, if it's surrounded by other seedlings, that the heat is even worse at that spot. So you lose a random seedling here and there. And you need to be careful, because if you don't catch it in time, it will continue to grow onto the other seedlings, onto the healthy ones. And if you only check that bag every 3 weeks or so, you will have a whole container that you lost. Okay, so here, looking okay. Here's a seedling that's covered by soil, and I removed that, trying to compact the soil around it a little bit. Apart from that, all good. Closing it up again. 2 more, I think, 2 or 3 more. And then we're done with that. Hey, welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. I was born in Germany. That's usually what I comment. I'm a European. Actually, I was born in Saarland. That's a German state, and a pretty nice area in between France and Germany. Hey, good morning. Great to have you around. I'm just going through the usual seedling stuff. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm doing my best. I mean, I've been around for so long, and eventually, I mean, you realize that it's kind of important to just do good. I mean, it's really it sounds a little bit goofy, but I'm trying my best with the reach that I have, being it on Facebook, on Instagram, or on YouTube. And YouTube, I really like in the last year or two. YouTube has really grown, and I wanna really push that thing a little bit. So I will spend a lot of time here in winter and in summer. In summer we will stream from outdoors, and that will really be good. I'm looking forward to that. So I'm just trying to have a great channel, and for now it's working. So yeah, fingers crossed that it stays like that. Thank you. Okay, yeah, these are looking great. Uvocala seedlings. Soil is very dry, but I'm currently leaving it like that because it's better to have a little bit too dehydrated seedlings than having the fungus gnat problem. Somehow they seem to have a hard time with the containers where the soil was a little bit drier. So maybe we're keeping them a little bit on the dry side. Here's another one that looks great, also very dry soil. So yeah. I mean, what on the level that I'm doing that's also not healthy. I should probably only keep like 1/3, but it's hard when you are making the crosses. You know, you see the potential that you want to make a cross, and then you finally, when you have the seeds and you can grow them, then you would actually have to sort them out. So I have way too many plants for the little space that I have. But yeah. And Hoya are great too. I like them. I mean, I don't have the space for them. But I had some. I had a bunch. And I also had other stuff like Puya that I got from Sacred Succulents long time ago, and they were great also. Really cool plants. I love them. I wish I had more space. At some point I will move abroad and get me some land where I just fill it up with plants like they are doing with Cactus Country. Something like that. It allows you to have a more diverse collection. Where I am, I just have to use the space for stuff that survives the cold winter, and B, stuff that where I have potential with the breeding. I used to have a lot of other cacti, really everything. Like I had Melo cactus, I had a lot of Mexicans, all these interesting kind of plants, but I had to focus. There was no way to continue breeding with the little space that I had if I had also kept a lot of the botanical plants that I had at the time. I had a bunch of very big agaves, like I don't know what else. Opuntia, had a bunch of Opuntia, really big ones. Oreocerois. It's just at some point I had to make a decision, and I chose what personally what I saw the biggest potential in for long term for working. Also, I mean, today I have very different plans than I had maybe 15 years ago. All that flower hybrid stuff. I focused on it more and more in the last 10 years or so. Also because it was easier, you know. We always had problems with all kinds of different, I don't know, on social media, you know, where they haven't been showing the post to a wider audience because they felt like, because they didn't like certain plants, certain species, and that problem I finally avoided by having these color hybrids. Yeah, yeah. I mean, a closed balcony can work. I know breeders that only have that. What also can be great is some of the best breeders that I know. They just have these little garden beds, like little square greenhouses, mini greenhouses, but they are well made. And Reinhard Liske, one of the best breeders that ever lived. The guy has been breeding with these little garden beds that are maybe like this, not big, but he's been putting his cacti in there in March, brought them out early in March, and since they are in these closed container, in these boxes, they are somewhat insulated, so it works for him. It works, and they are flowering like crazy every year. In winter, I think he's bringing them in the cellar and overwintering them in the cellar. So you don't need a greenhouse to do it. It's just more work. And you need to kind of work on the setup a little bit, but you can definitely have great results like that. It's really, it's just easier with a greenhouse. Like all the work that Reinhard Liske does with his plants, he's repotting a lot, he's moving plants a lot, bringing them out in spring and taking them in. That's a lot of work. I respect that. I greatly admire that. I wish I had that kind of energy, and he's already a little bit older, so a lot of respect for that man. But that's how you can grow, you don't need a fancy setup often. So in this one here, the fungus gnats ate it. Fungus gnats ate the root. But apart from, here's a fungus gnat. I think we will transplant them. I don't tolerate that. Yeah, I mean, I would love, I always wanted to have like one of these winter garden kind of things where I can keep the plants all year round. Something like that would be at one point. Maybe I will do something like that. But if you have nothing else, a balcony can work great too. Other breeders that I know, they just have a below the roof of the house, when they have a little bit of a little part where the roof stands over, they build a shelf there, something like that, just to give the plants. If it's the right side, like where the sun hits early in the morning, you can put the plants there as long as they are protected by the rain. A large part of the problems that we have in countries, in places like, I don't know, Europe in general, when it's raining too much, it can be too much for the seedling, for the cacti. So preventing the rain to hit them can make a huge difference already. They will take colder temperatures then. So yeah, a lot you can do. Yeah, I mean, the boxes that Reinhard has shown in this TV clip that he made recently, I think that post went viral a little bit because it's just so unique. It's such a unique setup. I'm always impressed not only by the fact that he does it with these boxes. The boxes are the least of the things, but he's just repotting all the time. In that clip, he talked about the need to disinfect the pots. So he's disinfecting every single pot when he's potting up. That is such a hard work. And yeah, but he does it. And he said that it makes a huge difference in regards to the fungal infections, because fungal infections just can't spread like that when he repots so often. So yeah, I hope he's still able to do that for a while. Uwe Karl is a friend of mine. And Uwe is also a little bit older generation. And Uwe was already at the point where he thought he has to stop. He has to retire. So every year that these guys, these old school breeders continue to work is a good year. Even if you don't, like, there were a lot of hybrids by Reinhard Liske where he got mad that they ended up on eBay, where he kind of gave away seeds and they ended up on eBay. So Reinhard changed the way he gave away seeds. He still gives away seeds, but only to people that he knows, where he knows that they will not end up on a marketplace, you know. So yeah, the hybrids are still, he's still working, he's still making hybrid crosses, but they are just a little bit harder to get now. But I expect a lot of good stuff coming from Reinhard Liske in the next 10 years, like stuff that he already created that is now slowly starting to flower. There's always a delay. It always takes 5 to 7 years for these plants to flower. And yeah, so we will see now what kind of crosses he made in 2018 or 2019. So yeah, and the same is true for mine. I still haven't seen most of the crosses that I made. I still don't know how good they are exactly. You know, as a breeder, you are in that kind of a limbo in between where you don't know whether you are actually a really good breeder or not. You know, you will eventually, you will see what came from the old crosses, but that's years in the future. Until then, who knows if I will see them in 7 years. So every year I'm seeing some of the crosses that I made now from 2019 and 2018. That's great. That's a great feeling to be still around to see them. So yeah. Okay, so let me see what we have here. I have a few more seeds that I wanted to clean. I haven't given up on doing something here with the seeds, so I will continue cleaning them. I'm not sure what this is. This was from yesterday. I'm not sure what this was, what we cleaned yesterday, but I think it was that multi-hybrid KA 2011-56. I think that was the fruit from this cross, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, it must be. The next one is Mamacita, and Mamacita never has so many seeds. Okay. I'm not sure what a conservatory is, but I feel like I have a vague understanding what you mean. So yeah, that could work. That would be great. I mean, the problems that I have here are classic. Too much rain. The rainfall is just insane, and it hasn't been like that. It's just mostly, oh yeah, okay, yeah, that would be great. I would love to have something like that, but they're expensive to build. But yeah, the rainfall here is the big problem. We never had so much rain than what we had in the last 3-4 years. The area where I live, and I have the luck to live way up on a slope, you know, way up where no water can hit me, but the neighborhood had been flooded completely. And that happens quite often these days. I don't know, maybe every 2-3 years people have been flooded here. That's pretty bad. Oh yeah, someone has been pollinating flowers. I would love to do that right now. Unfortunately, it's still a few months until then. But on the other hand, I mean, we're almost in the new year already. And in March, the new season begins already. So I mean, it's going to happen very soon again anyway. And last year, during the main breeding season, during the pollination season, I really had issues. It was a lot of work. And, you know, like every time life gets in between, life gets difficult, then you have the flowers opening 20 flowers at once. I'm sure I will be unhappy then too. Just different. It's always so much like when you have the flowers, there's nothing you can do. You just have to get up, get out, and do the work. If you don't do it, nobody is going to film it. Nobody is going to see it. They would just flower in the greenhouse, and nobody would be able to kind of see the videos that I always like to take and all. So yeah, it's a lot of work, this hobby. Every year I consider to retire. We'll see how long we will take this and where exactly we will take the channel and all. Right now, I'm really optimistic for the future. But yeah, it will depend on how easy things will be in the next couple of years. I don't know. Last years, when you're breeding cacti, it can be an amazing thing. But when you're breeding cacti under terrible conditions, like when the life situation is just terrible, then it is so hard, such a hard job. So I just hope that long term life will be easier for me. That it will make it easier, that the channel will grow fast, that it will allow me to have a better, you know, to work on the setup, to actually do something with all the land that I have here. We could actually build something nice. But right now, the last 2 years, it was such a bad recession that I'm just barely getting along. I've been when I bought soil this year in summer, I always bought like 2 bags of soil because that's what I could afford at that time. And then I worked a little bit, and then I had to earn a little bit more that I could order another 2 bags of soil. And that's how you constantly fight yourself through summer. That's how it was for me. Thank you. Every year I consider to retire. Not because I want to, but because it is too hard. Because it is too exhausting. Where I live, when I go out, I have 100 tick bites a season, and I've been so sick from the Lyme, I've almost been paralyzed. You know, I wasn't able to walk to the mailbox just from having so much Lyme disease here, and I'm surrounded by grasslands. They just have a great time here. So every year that I'm going out again and doing another year is a year where I kind of risk it. You know, even now when I talk, I often have to put a lot of effort into talking normally, because that was all gone at some point just from a tick bite. And when I'm out there, when I'm working in summer, you can't avoid it. You can't avoid the tick bites. You are always exposed. So every year I gotta say, okay, will we do another year, or will we like call it an end? And so far, I mean, this year, I'm really glad that we're doing another year, because I know that in spring, in summer, with the stream, the way we are doing the stream now, that could be awesome. I would just put the camera on a flower, on the insects, on the birds in the background, that kind of setting that you often see in the short videos that I'm posting. It's just a beautiful place here, and that could work so great for streaming. So yeah, looking forward to doing this season, and when that is done, we'll see what we do. But it would be great if things were easier long term. That is why I'm kind of pushing forward. You know, normally I would have to say, okay, I'm just taking 5 steps back, but that is not an option for me anymore. I've been living that life for too long. Things need to get easier at some point. You need to, at some point, succeed to that point where you can just enjoy the work. You don't have to have that financial stress all the time that you have around your neck. And yeah, that's what I'm working for. That's every morning when I'm going online, when I'm doing something, I'm working on the future. Everything I do right now is to build something here. And yeah, right now it's great. I'm happy. The channel has grown like never before. And this is, I think it's the 8th or the 9th year that I'm having the channel. That is a lot of time just to build an account. So we'll see how it goes. But it's great to be around. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, I hope this is the type of seed that I've seen down there. If not, I will have to look it up in yesterday's stream. Because I was cleaning a certain type, and now I'm not sure what it was anymore. But I suspect it was that multi-hybrid by Uwe Kahle from the cross KA 2011-56. So I will write that on it and check the previous video again. The good thing when you do everything on video, you can go back and take a look at it later when you forgot. So yeah, I will probably go offline somewhat soon, but I will be back. I will be back later, maybe today or tomorrow. We will now start working the outdoors. I say that every time I'm doing a stream, but we have to do it now. We only have time to do the tree cutting until February, I think. February or March, something like that. So we need to do it now. Okay. What kind of a fruit was that? Okay. The date was, this was a fruit that I harvested in September. Okay. All right. I think this was a great stream today. I loved it. I really liked the kind of that, you know, you're always hearing from people. You're always in touch with people. You can always react to comments. People can ask you if there's something that they want to ask. So I enjoy that. So thank you for making this stream always a great thing. No matter what happens, something happens every time, and I appreciate it, guys. So yeah, I gotta go offline because at some point around that time my energy level goes down. The muscles always aren't working fully yet. So yeah, but I really enjoyed that, guys. Thank you for participating, and I will be back tomorrow again around the same time, and then we're doing another stream. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it. I really enjoyed it. Thank you.